Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Everyday novel. Everyday is a young adult romance and fantasy novel written by American author David Levithan. It was published on August 28, 2012 by Knopf Books, for young readers, and is recommended for ages 14-18. Everyday is a New York Times bestseller. A prequel novella only available digitally titled 6 Earlier Days was released on November 26 of the same year. A companion novel titled Another Day was released on August 25, 2015. Plot summary. Every Day is about the story of a person who wakes up occupying a different body each day. As described by Frank Bruni of the New York Times, A doesn't have a real name, presumably because they don't have a real existence. They're not a person, at least not in any conventional sense, but they have a spirit, switching without choice from one host to the next and, for just 24 hours, replacing its consciousness with their own. A has their own memories, but they are also able to tap into the memories of the person whose body they are occupying. The story begins with A waking up in the body of a teenage boy named Justin. Upon arriving to school, A meets Justin's girlfriend, Rhiannon, and feels an instant connection to her. Based on Justin's memories, A can tell that Justin and Rhiannon are having a rough time in their relationship, so in order to learn more about her, A invites her to the beach. The pair open up to one another, though as sharing is limited and very carefully worded. A had never felt such a connection with anyone before, and so attempts to discover a way by which to stay in Rhiannon's proximity in days to come. A then does their best to convince Rhiannon that the day shared at the beach was not between her and Justin, but rather between her and A. A spends almost every day following this event trying to figure out the best way to approach Rhiannon, since they are luckily never more than just a car ride away. After going through some trouble, A is finally able to convince Rhiannon of who they are, and the phenomenon they experience every day. While she does believe A, and understands how hard it must be, she also realizes that a relationship with A would be impossible, even if she wished to be in one. As the story progresses, we follow A as they wake up in body after body, still chasing Rhiannon. Meanwhile, they are forced to contend with a boy whose body A inhabited early, and who tracks them down in order to gain answers as to who A is and how they were able to take over their body and mind, as well as a priest working with said boy, who gathers a following of people who inhabit the bodies of others. Critical reception. Every Day has received many positive reviews, like one from Kirkus Reviews which claimed Levithan's self-conscious, analytical style marries perfectly with the plot. His musings on love, longing and human nature knit seamlessly with his journey. Readers will devour his trademark poetic wordplay and cadences that feel as fresh as they were when he wrote Boy Meets Boy. Susan Carpenter of the Los Angeles Times wrote, "It's the rare book that challenges gender presumptions in a way that's as entertaining as it is unexpected and, perhaps most important, that's relatable to teens who may not think they need sensitivity training when it comes to sexual orientation and the nature of true love." Every Day is precisely such a book. A story that is always alluring, oftentimes humorous and much like love itself, splendorous. Frank Bruni of the New York Times had this to say of Every Day: "It demonstrates Levithan's talent for empathy, which is paired in the best parts of the book with a persuasive optimism about the odds for happiness and for true love. The only way to keep going," he writes, "is to see every person as a possibility. For A with their daily transformations, that's an absolute necessity. For the rest of us, it's still a fine idea." Chelsea Philpott of the Boston Globe remarked, "The ending is abrupt and leaves you wishing for more explanations. But maybe it only feels that way because we're not ready to let A go through as eyes readers get to experience what it would be like to be someone different, but the same. As A explains to Rhiannon, when who you are changes every day, you get to touch the universal more." Film adaptation. In June 2017, it was announced that Every Day will be adapted into a feature film, with Angourie Rice starring as Rhiannon. Jesse Andrews, author of Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, wrote the script while Michael Suxi will direct. Filming took place in summer 2017. For a 2018 release, MGM will distribute. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?